What's up, Ginger Cornets? The newest episode of Pokemon Journeys gave us what was probably Go's best trial mission yet. Though I guess a lot of people actually didn't like this episode, and we can agree to disagree. It was great to see the return of Tokyo, or excuse me, Horace, as he's apparently called in English. And the raid battle against Articuno was really well done. I always love it when legendary Pokemon live up to that status. And this Articuno certainly did not disappoint. But the best part of this episode, in my opinion, was how it suggested something about Gary that basically changed how I see his entire character. First off, can I just say that out of every past character that's returned in Journeys, Gary has definitely been handled the best. I love how the person who was once a rival for Ash now serves as a rival for Go. But there was a moment at the end of the episode that really stands out. Gary explained how he agrees with the strict nature of Tsurugi, or whatever his English name is, like Quilladin or something. This leads Go to realize that the reason Gary provokes him is to help him learn and improve. This was something that Professor Oak had suggested back when Go was first joining Project Mew, but this seems to be basically confirmation. And this got me thinking, what if we've been seeing Gary in the wrong way this whole time? In the original series, Gary was a constant jerk to Ash, but over time came to respect him as both a trainer and a person. And that's a fair assumption, especially considering Gary was based on Blue from the games, who acted the exact same way toward Red. However, what if the reason Gary constantly mocked Ash was the same reason he currently acts that way toward Go? Perhaps Gary was always trying to get Ash to improve and become a better trainer. And looking back at their interactions throughout the original series, the theory starts to grow some legs. Unlike, say, Paul, Gary never seemed upset when Ash would get ahead of him, such as when Ash was able to win the Earth Badge, when he scored higher in the Indigo League, or when he defeated Gary in the Johto League. Sure, Gary may have been upset that he lost, but he wasn't upset that Ash did better than him. There are two moments that may seem to throw this theory off, however, and that's how Gary talks about Ash when he isn't around. The first is in the second episode, when it's revealed that Gary bet his grandfather that Ash wouldn't catch any new Pokemon by the time he reached Viridian City. And the other, as previously mentioned, was after Ash won the Earth Badge, where Gary says to himself,
"I hate to admit it, but that kid's a pretty good trainer."
The fact that Gary said he hates to admit it may suggest that a part of him is upset about Ash's accomplishment, but I have a counterpoint to both these scenes, and that's that this is how 4Kids depicted Gary, not how he was originally envisioned. So instead, let's take a look at the original Japanese versions of these scenes. And for one, the first scene can basically be eliminated because Gary isn't even mentioned here in Japanese. Professor Oak's mention of what he said was entirely a dub edit. Likewise, in the Japanese version of the Battle of the Badge, Gary instead says that Ash did pretty well for a 4th place guy, referencing how he was the last of the 4 trainers from Pallet Town to begin his journey. While this line can be seen as a little snarky, it certainly doesn't have the same connotations as what Gary said in the English version. So who knows, maybe we've been seeing this character in the wrong light all along. But what do you think? Was Gary always trying to get Ash to improve, or is this just something he started doing with Go? I'm curious what you think of my little theory. Anyway, remember to subscribe if you haven't, it really helps me out more than you think, and I'll see you later, Gator Taters.